Hi, everybody. Sit down, relax. It's going to be nice and easy, I promise. I promise. So yeah, firstly, thank you for the invitation. I really appreciate it. You probably tell from my accent I'm not Polish, but I do live in Poland. And just to make everybody feel real calm, I'm not going to be talking about my product at all today. It's all about everything else. I'm going to be talking today about how to scale recruitment, how to scale talent acquisition without hurting the candidate experience. Because I think there's a really nice, we all have the preconception that when we have to do more of things, something is going to get worse. So was everyone on this morning's presentation as well, downstairs? The first one that was super scary and made everyone really scared, yeah? Okay, so today I'm going to talk a little bit about that, but nothing about AI, but from another perspective. Now, I put this slide here introducing myself because, not because that you didn't hear my name before, but I'm actually on stage today as a head of growth. So I joined TRAFFIT 5 years ago, and before that, I spent 15 years doing sales and marketing. So I was new to HR. So I'm a little bit of an imposter today on the stage, but that's because my experience, my kind of history is all about sales and marketing. And what I want to talk about today is what we can learn from sales and marketing in our HR and our recruitment approach, because luckily, it's been around for a long time, and there's a lot of things we can learn and a lot of steps we can skip from learning how other departments have done things. Now, as I said, when I joined HR, when I looked at recruitment, I was like, there's a lot of similarities to what I was doing in sales and marketing. The first thing to know is that they are both funnels, and a lot of you already know this, so stick with me. The first thing is, marketing, we have branding activities, right? Just like in recruitment, we have employer branding. There's a reason I'm wearing this lovely hoodie, for some branding. But the idea is that they always have goals. And the goals is what do they move on to next. So when we have branding in sales and marketing, we want obviously to people to go, oh, TRAFFIT, they sound interesting, I might try their product. But in the same way, when we do employee branding, we want it to turn into candidates. We want it to turn into applications. Lots of nodding heads. I promise it gets more sophisticated later. We want those leads to become customers just as much as we want candidates to become employees. And as we've learned in both marketing and recruitment as time goes by, it's not the end of the process because we want those employees to stay. We want the good employees to stay longer, to become advocates for the brand. They want them to feel more than just employees. So the funnel is a very, very similar process to what we have in sales and marketing. Now, the difference is right now that there are 2.5 marketers for every recruiter, every HR employee. So the marketing industry is slightly bigger in terms of number of people. They're still expected to scale, but where the number becomes super interesting, and I want you to see this as a positive, is there is almost 20 times more money spent on marketing technology than there is in HR technology. And this is great news for us in the room, because what we have to remember is we are not limited at all. Even if you work in recruitment or HR, you don't have to buy HR tools. You can buy any tool you want and adapt it to your needs, to your goals. So this means we've got a huge industry next door to us that have similar pipelines, similar goals for marketers that we can tap into. Now, the other thing as well is when I started to talk to recruiters about this, and they were like, yeah, Mick, we know this already, but my boss doesn't care. Anyone fall into that category? I hope their boss is not looking. Okay, it's cool. Okay. Now, these are the slides I'm going to give you as a power to go back to your boss, okay, and get them to care. Get your board of directors to care. 55% of job seekers will avoid companies that have bad reviews online. Now, the interesting thing about this report, that's not bad reviews of your recruitment processes. That's bad reviews total. So if a job seeker goes and looks online and goes, oh, there's a review there saying that the product is poor, or I needed a refund, or I didn't like that hotel, you could do a great job of attracting 100 top candidates to your job, and 55 of them will not apply. And you will think it's your fault, yeah? So we already know that business branding affects recruitment. This is the one that I like as well, which is recruitment is now going to become a very big topic for your PR teams, and they should be close to you. They should be taking care of you. Because 88% of customers will Google a brand before they buy their product. So if they find an employee that says, I hate working at this company, they will not buy. So if your directors are not prioritizing recruitment and so on, ask them if they would like to lose 9 out of every 10 leads because they are not investing enough into the recruitment process and taking care of employee and candidate experience. And this is the one that really, we always think sometimes, or my impression from the outside is that recruitment is net or worse. So people complain, but they never say good things. It turns out that 61% of customers prefer to buy from companies who take care of their employees, who take care of their people. And we start to see this now, for example, in the airline industry. We start to see people drawn towards airlines where the flight attendants seem to be happier than possibly working in a more difficult airline. And let me prove this to you, how much it matters to the business and how much your bosses should be amplifying your perception in the business. Virgin Media is an internet and cable TV provider in the UK. In 2014, they did a survey of all candidates that got rejected from their recruitment processes. 18% of candidates were Virgin Media customers. Of those 18% of candidates, 6% of them resigned from being a Virgin Media customer after the negative employment or candidate experience. So they lost 6% of them that were customers, they left. Oh, that's not a big deal. Virgin did the math for us. It cost them £4.4 million in customer revenue. So the company in 1 year lost £4.4 million in potential revenue from its customers because of its candidate experience. Yet we've all got bosses who say, oh, candidates will always complain when they get rejected. It can cost you a lot of money. And what we're seeing now is that candidates are becoming more brave, more powerful. They are getting more consistent. Employees are getting more consistent. What people don't believe is when I say I came from outside HR, we've got an alternative industry right now, which is restaurants and hotels. And we all say, oh, TripAdvisor. Yeah, they all care. They all want a 5-star review. 10, 15 years ago, they didn't care because they thought one customer didn't like their food. Who cares? Now they care because customers took power. And we know that candidates and employees are going to do the same. Now, of course, we've got all these examples online now of not only candidates saying, like, I'm not enjoying my recruitment experience, but they're starting to name the companies, which we know will now affect 8 out of 10 customers. It will affect 6 out of 10 candidates. But it's not all doom and gloom because you get to have positive effects on your candidates. You can actually also impress a candidate who didn't get a job by actually making them feel more powerful and making them feel more valued, and you turn them from candidate to advocate for your brand. So again, our businesses should be actually giving you the tools and the resources to make positive candidate experiences because it's going to cost your business money if it doesn't. Now, the final topic why I'm talking about this today on the stage is, I think many of you might have felt this, which is HR now and recruitment needs to scale. It's not where we were before. The report shows that HR and recruitment workload will increase 9.3% over the next 2 years. How many of us now have to take care of remote spaces and in-office spaces? How many of us have to have meetings both virtually and in person? Our workload in HR is increasing constantly. We're being asked to learn new tools, new resources. The scary part is that the same report says that most businesses will not increase their headcount in HR or recruitment at all. In fact, they will probably decrease it. So I see a lot of nodding heads as well. I sympathize with you, but I promise I'm getting out of the scary part. We're going to get to the good part soon. So the first 3 things we can take away are the fundamentals from what we need to know. The first thing you should consider is that you do not need to be great for everyone anymore. When I listened to the topic this morning, and I think it was a really great presentation, I still believe there will be a niche of people that don't want to talk to AI, and you can be good for them. And a nice example of this is, and this is very low-hanging fruit, recently I saw a conversation about who here loves the job title being a ninja? No, we're a little bit over this, yeah? We feel, oh, okay, ninja, it's old school, etc. But what I see here is, if you have a company or recruitment process and your employees are happy to be categorized as ninjas, heroes, all those kind of rock stars, stay with it. You don't have to please everybody. You definitely don't have to please other recruiters. Be true to your brand. The quicker you stop trying to please everybody and attract everybody, the more resource you will have to be even better for your niche of candidates and employees. You do not have to serve everybody. I promise. It's super important. That's where you get the resource from. Now, the second one, know the problem that you are solving is something we've stolen from sales and marketing, of course. Now, the number one reason people say that they change their role is salary. That probably most of us would agree, we've heard this before. Do you know the other 4 top reasons out of the top 5? Lack of progression, poor company culture. The reasons are not actually the relevant part here today. What I would like to ask you is, takeaway number 1, let's look at number 2 to 5. Can you raise your hand if your company does any of those well? I'm going for it. I'm good. My company's good at progression. Yeah, come on, be brave. It's okay. Now, what I want to do is give you a homework. Tomorrow, go to your career page and go to your most recent job descriptions or job advertisements and see if you talk about that first. Because 95% of us don't. We have a great, let's say your company has a great record of culture or progression. You have record number of promotions in your company. And you go to the job ad and it's like, we've been on the market for 17 years and we have 400 companies. Nobody cares. They care about this. Now, what we have to learn from sales and marketing is we usually have 7 seconds of attention from someone before they decide to give you more attention or leave. You've got 7 seconds. So pitch what you are good at first and pitch what they care about first. If you are the top paying salary person, by the way, in the area or in your industry, say it. I would put it as the headline on your job ad. But basically, make sure if you do one of these 5 things well, you talk about it and you don't hide it on line 57 of your job advertisement. Talk about it nice and early because we've got to do what things people care about. And the third thing is we've got to create journeys. Now, one thing, again, we learn from sales and marketing, but I see this. Has anyone's company posted like awesome employer branding videos, pictures? We have awesome offices, integrations, etc. I see these a lot in my LinkedIn and they are great, really good work. And then you go to that company's career page and we see, oh, we are not hiring right now. Yeah? And this happens very often. And it's, imagine that we do this fantastic job of getting someone excited about working in our company and then they hit a wall. They can't even show us that they are interested for the future. I'm not saying pretend that you are hiring, but what we've got to do is allow them to continue their journey with us. Imagine going to Taylor Swift's website and she said, sorry, I'm full. No more fans. She probably could say it, but fundamentally what we are in the business of is not only attraction, but nurturing relationships with candidates, right? So we've got to allow them to say, I like what you do, I'm interested in what you do. And there are numerous ways we can do this, but make sure that you don't hit a wall with them. Give them a chance. And the reason why sometimes we don't is because we don't have time to take care of them. So I'm going to finish with 9 ideas, okay? 9 ideas of how you can scale your recruitment processes and talent acquisition processes. The first one, is anyone familiar with email marketing? Yeah, we all get newsletters, we get it. We can use this in our recruitment and talent acquisition, and we do this at TRAFFIT. What we decided to do is we had a number of candidates. Obviously, recruitment is challenging because if you have 99 candidates, you normally only hire 1. And that means you've got 98 that we couldn't hire at the time. But we want to keep them hot. We want to keep them engaged with the business. We want to keep them wanting to work in our business because if we are hot and then we are cold, oh, we're not hiring, so I don't like you anymore. Oh, and then 1 year later, oh, we're hiring again. Do you want to join us? We have to remember for a candidate that was 12 months of silence. It was 12 months of they don't care about me. So by using a newsletter tool, one thing we have at TRAFFIT is we have something called TRAFFIT Talent, which every month or 2 months, when we've got something valuable to say, we message our candidates, our talent pool, and we're like, hey, this is what's happening. Why? Because I want them to keep them excited about joining my company. And the nice thing about this is we sometimes think that this is for massive organizations. It can be for a talent pool of 50 candidates. It's better than you sending 50 individual emails. Now, the way to make this interesting for a candidate is to give value. So what we used to do at TRAFFIT was, we said, if you were in our newsletter base, before we post a job on a job board, you get first dibs. So we're going to send it to you 3 days before we post it on the job board. So we make it very attractive, very interesting. We tell them about changes in the company, the product, etc. And the great thing is, because of the marketing industry, it's so easy now to make email marketing. There are tools on the market for $10 a month, and they give you all the templates. You just have to fill in the gaps. It's super easy. And one thing that I saw that Microsoft do really well, they do this to former employees, keep them attracted, keep them connected to the company. And there are various different tools. There are hundreds of tools, which is good news for us, that can help us do this. Webinars. Again, everybody's heard about webinars. They're great for lead generation. Did you know that you can do them for your candidates? You can offer a candidate webinar. If you find a problem that your candidate has, so let's say, for example, you're in the blue-collar industry and candidates are afraid that they can't apply for jobs because they can't get to the office or they can't get to the production site. Run a webinar, 5 things you can do if your production job is far away. Run webinars. Again, you can get 20, 50, 100 sign-ups, and the tools are really, really cheap these days. We can do one-to-many activities that still make people feel good. Now, 3 is video. It might sound really obvious. So yeah, we can make employee videos, employee branding, show people around our cool office. There are other things we can do. So even at TRAFFIT, we found that we have 3 times more engagement when I make a video explaining the job description versus posting the job written. We have more engagement on LinkedIn. But one that I found recently is we started to give candidate feedback, candidate rejection via video. So I would record my candidates a 1-minute video saying why I didn't hire them instead of sending them the email. Now, I did that because it was faster for me to make the video than it was to write the email. Now, this one is a nice example of this. I made a video using a tool called Loom, and I'll tell you why the video is the key part. I want you to look at the feedback for a second. Hi, Mick. I'm really impressed by your form of message. It means something to me. It made my day better. It looks like I made it on a potato. It's the worst quality video I can possibly imagine. It wasn't high-end. It wasn't well done. This was me in an airport departure lounge making a video on my laptop. Why did the candidate care and give me this valuable feedback? Because it was different. And that's why I'm against the topic from this morning, because if we all start using AI, we will all be the same. What the candidates crave, uniqueness, humanness, connection. So the great thing about these tools is it's not just about recording video. It will tell you when people watched it, by how much. So you still get all that beautiful analytics, but they can also interact with you. There are lots of tools that can do this. Podcasts. We all know podcasts. What I love about podcasts, and we are going to do this at TRAFFIT very soon, as we do with most of our ideas, you can run podcasts for both employees and candidates. Crazy, yeah? We all listen to podcasts, but we never really think about using this as having a conversation with the market. Internal podcasts have 3 times more attention than town hall meetings or all-hand meetings or all-ear meetings, whatever we hear. There are tools out there, and these are public. So what's great is it's great for talent acquisition because you're being transparent. But I would please check this out after the presentation. American Airlines have an internal podcast that you can listen to. What's changing in the company? What's new? What's different? And what's nice is that not only can you have a podcast, you can repurpose it on other channels, just like we would do in marketing normally. So we get wider reach, more ways for people to actually consume. I'm going to move a little bit faster because we are almost out of time. 1, ebooks. If you have culture books, if you have internal documents that you make for your employees, make them available for candidates to read. They're going to Google you anyway. Why not give them more information, more avenues? So at TRAFFIT, when we have a culture book, you can download it from the website. We have yearbooks. So every year we make a culmination of the year. We talk about what did we like, what was the favorite movie we watched. We have an employee profile. We also even talk about employees that left us, or we left them because we want them to still feel part of the history. So you can make any document you want, and we make this public to everybody. Graphics is a really easy one. If you are in your company and you are asking your marketing team to make graphics for birthdays, which I've seen, these are real screenshots, please don't. You can empower yourself. There are tools that can help you make graphics in 5 seconds. They don't have to be perfect, I promise. Web design we've talked about. Again, a lot of us have these pages where we have no vacancies, etc., because we don't have time, we don't have access to the web design. Talk to your marketing team. Ask them if they'll implement tools that allow you to edit your career page on the fly. And there are tools that do this for free. You can edit things really easy. The last one, which is meetups. This has worked really well for us at TRAFFIT, where post-COVID, it's surprising how many people want to hang out in person. So for what we do, disclaimer, €600 is our budget. Everybody gets 2 free drinks vouchers, and we normally have 70 to 80 candidates and employees mixing together, having a drink, talking, this non-conference kind of movement. No agenda, no presentations. Come and hang out, get closer to the business. Really cost effective, and you'll be surprised how many people connect to it. The last thing I will leave you with, because I'm almost out of time, is to remember that there are no rules. Slack, if anyone's familiar with it, they have an online store for candidates and employees and customers. And I'll tell you a little sneaky thing here. This is a talk about creating value. The lady before one of the examples was like, I got a £10 voucher from my interview. Slack here, they have a water bottle and they put it as $28. Now, from my understanding, they've never sold a single one for money. Because what do? They give out the vouchers for people who were on interviews or employees. Oh, here's a $50 voucher for our store. This bottle costs around $6 to make. So Slack are actually giving employees and candidates $6 when they take a bottle, but the candidate feels like they got a $30 voucher. Slack have created a currency that doesn't exist just by using a marketing technique from e-commerce. Yeah? You can do anything you like. And even the last one, which I love here, which is a company from Poland, they made gifts saying we are hiring. It sounds really simple. It has 600 million views. It was used 600 million times by people who wanted to see it. So thank you very much. That was a lot of information. I hope some of it was valuable. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Mick. I think we are here to learn from each other. And I think your presentation was absolutely about real-life examples. And I'm just wondering that we at Talent Acquisition sometimes complain that we need more budget. We want, but we don't really need too much budget to be creative and to reach out, I don't know, potential candidates.
You need more
freedom. With some creativity.
You need more freedom.
Flexibility. What else? If you have something in your minds, we have 1 minute. Maybe just one question. We have time for one question, and later on you can ask Mick outside the room while on lunch break. Everybody's too shy to ask. Okay. If no questions around, okay, then thank you very much, Mick. I really enjoyed it. It was very useful. I think take your...
What I can say is I do this with every presentation. First of all, it was a lot of information, very fast.
Yeah.
What I know is that there will be a recording. Normally watch it around half speed and you can understand me a little bit better. But what I do is a lot of the things I talk about, they are very specific to each company. So if any technique I said today and you're like, I'm not quite sure how to apply that to my specific company, I will commit to having a one-on-one call, one-on-one meeting with anybody. Just grab me on LinkedIn, say that you want to have a 30-minute discussion. I'll send you a calendar link. I would happily talk to anyone one-on-one about implementing this. So my time is yours, absolutely.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, everyone. Yeah, thank you.